Okay, so I've been away for a few days, but I am back now. And in today's video, I want to go ahead and talk about the upcoming Samsung Galaxy Tab A8 or the 2021 Galaxy Tab A8, things to look forward to when it comes down to this tablet and, potential release date also. So let's go ahead and jump in. Now, let me start off by saying that things have been all over the place in terms of leaks regarding Tab A8. I figured let me go ahead and make a video which would be kind of a recap of what's out there. Now, the early renders that we have here are showing a tablet that is kind of redesigned, right, based off of the Galaxy Tab A7. So you still have that somewhat familiar look, at least to the many of us who are already familiar with what the A7 looks like. I'm talking specifically hardware here, and you would essentially have the same display with the thick bezels around there. The front-facing camera is going to be located right in the middle of one of the sides of the bezels there, and that camera location and setup is pretty much similar to what we have with the more modern Samsung Galaxy tablets. And according to still those same leaks, we will be looking at a TFT display, so something similar to what we had last year. Would have been nice to have an IPS, right? But then again, I don't want to get too deep into this discussion of whether it's a real TFT or whether it's an IPS just being called a TFT by Samsung, so let's not get lost into that. When it comes down to going around the tablet, we're going to have some of the same physical features that we've seen on the Galaxy Tab A7. You have quad speaker setup, although I'm not sure whether this time around is going to be tuned by AKG. In either case, on a budget tablet to have 4 speakers like that, at least like it was the case with the Galaxy Tab A7, it was really loud. It was just stereo speakers, but really loud, and they sounded pretty nice. So whether they're tuned by AKG or not, still good to have a quad speaker setup, because that's the correct setup you want to have on a tablet, right? So 2 speakers on each side, so that when you're playing a game or watching a movie, even if you were to cover some of the bottom ones, you'll still be able to hear from the ones coming out of the top there. You're supposed to also still have a USB Type-C port, which is nice, and even the headphone jack is going to come back around. Now, that's one thing that is kind of disappearing from devices that many manufacturers out there are making, including Samsung, of course. We will also have, the typical power button, volume rocker, and there is talk about a potential fingerprint sensor embedded in the power button. Either that or on the screen, it will be an optical fingerprint scanner. Now, it's kind of surprising to me. I'm surprised that they would include that, but if they actually do include that, that would be nice. So that's one thing to keep in mind and look forward to. Now, let's go ahead and cover additional specs, and this time around we are going to focus on the inside. It seems like this year, at least according to the leaks, this year Samsung is going a very different route, and if there is any indication that the chip shortage is really hitting hard. But anyway, so Samsung typically would go for Qualcomm chipset or Qualcomm chip, either that or they would go with their own custom Exynos chip. But it looks like this time around Samsung, at least in the case of the budget tablet, the A8, they want to go with a Unisoc chip, which, based off of what they chose, again, according to the leaks, based off of what they chose, may not be an upgrade, really. And by the way, before I forget, if this is your first time visiting and you're finding this, informative at all, please make sure to hit both the subscribe and the like button there. I truly appreciate that. But anyway, so according to the leaks, based off of what they chose, it looks like they went with a Tiger T618 SoC. So in terms of processing power, we are looking at something, when comparing to the Snapdragon, we're looking at something that compares to maybe a Snapdragon 620. I'm not sure. That last year, if you remember, the regular Galaxy Tab A7 was pushing a Snapdragon 662. I think that's what it is. So if Samsung really went for the Tiger T618, it may not really be an upgrade. It probably would perform somewhere around what we had with the what we have with the current Galaxy Tab A7, which is a Snapdragon 662, or is it 660? Either one of those two. But anyway, so that's what we are looking at in terms of processing power. There also will be 3 tiers according to leaks. Some leaks are suggesting that they're only going to be 2 tiers in terms of the configuration, right? So it looks like some of the leaks are suggesting 64 and 128 gigs, but more leaks are suggesting 3 tiers. 32, 64, and 128 gigs. 32 gigs with 3 gigs of RAM, so 32 gigs internal storage with 3 gigs of RAM. 64 and 128 gigs of internal storage would come with an additional 1 gig of RAM, which would make a total of 4 gigs of RAM for the 64 and 128 gigs of internal storage. There's also going to be an LTE variant. Again, you have to wait for these to be confirmed. So even when I say 3 configurations, that doesn't mean that you will have all 3 in your regions, right? So we will have to wait on Samsung to confirm which regions are going to get, which configs. Anyway, so LTE variant is going to be available, and we are looking at 3 different colors: gold, gray, and silver, I believe. Now, switching to battery, we are looking at a 7040 milliamp for the battery. So still around the same size as what we had on what we have on the Galaxy Tab A7. Now, I can't tell you based off of your type of usage how long it's going to last, but I can tell you that the Tab A7 battery is pretty decent. You get pretty decent battery life out of that, which I anticipate is going to be the same here. It's also going to be fast charge capable, I believe, at up to 15 watt. It's not crazy fast charge capable, but you do have that. I'm not sure if they're going to include that fast charge charging brick in the box, but it will be fast charge capable. Now, in terms of camera, we are looking at pretty much the same setup as even what you have here. So main camera will be the 8 megapixel, and the front facing camera is going to be a 5 megapixel camera. So that's pretty standard in terms of the type of sensors that they add to these budget and mid-range tablets. You generally have an 8 for the main and a 5 megapixel for the front facing camera. Finally, of course, talking of release date, we are looking, according to some leaks now, we are looking at November 22nd. In my humble opinion, don't hang on to that too much because it's been changed like multiple times already, right? So just wait for it to be dropped, and then if you're interested, go ahead and buy. I'm gonna make sure that I pick up a copy and obviously review and share with you all what my take is going to be. I'm certainly hoping that Samsung will allow that you'll be able to move your apps from your tablet to your micro SD card. I remember initially they did not allow that on the Tab A7, but then I read on some forums, and also I've come across many comments on my videos saying that now you are able to move your apps to your micro SD card. I personally haven't had a chance to test that out because my Galaxy Tab A7 is actually with a cousin. Took it, never brought it back, so it's there. If I'm able to get that tablet back, then I'm going to go ahead and test it out. If not, I'm probably just going to test it out on the new one, but I will get to share that with you. But anyway, I'm certainly hoping that this was informative. Please don't forget, of course, to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to let me know what you think of this. Are you looking forward to this tablet? Are you going to pick up one? I personally am looking forward to it. I just want to see what it's going to offer. To me, it doesn't seem like an upgrade in terms of power, like processing power. Just looking at the specs, it doesn't look like it's going to be something that really surpasses what we have on the Galaxy Tab A7. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging till this moment here. I'm going to catch you in the comment section. Like I mentioned, make sure to share the video if you know anyone who'll be interested. I'm also going to catch you in the next video, and up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.